Are you a business owner looking to secure your financial future and create a lasting legacy? I'm Leah Garcia, a financial strategist and insurance professional, and I specialize in guiding businesses with up to 50 employees on how to effectively protect and transfer their wealth. We break down silos with my unique approach, the Wall of Wealth. Imagine a seamless collaboration among your CPA, tax attorney, estate planner, and insurance expert, each playing their part in perfect harmony, ensuring your financial strategy is not just effective, but a true masterpiece. My passion stems from my own journey, from growing up on food stamps to dreaming of building community centers that empower others. Together, we'll craft a roadmap that not only safeguards your assets, but also nurtures generational wealth for your loved ones. Let's transform your vision into reality. After all, you can't measure the heart of a champion just by looking at them. Join me, and let's make your financial future shine.
And we are live. Welcome to this episode of Wealthy Wednesday. Come on in, champions. Come on in. Let me know where you're streaming in from. We are live on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook. So let us know where you're catching this show from. I am so excited about today. I've got my notepad, but even more than that, I'm just really, really excited about our guest speaker today because what he actually brings to the table, I believe, is so unique that you are going to absolutely want to be here at this show. You're going to want to share it with people. You're going to want to get some time and have a nickel with him. I'm telling you, this next guest is going to be totally fire. You're going to love it. It's going to change the way you think about things. You know, when we change the way we think about things, the things we look at change. And I want to start this off with a story. You know, oftentimes we are praying and hoping for things to happen for us. I don't know if it's just me, but maybe some of you can relate. We are looking for opportunities. We're looking for that next thing. And I was having a situation where, if you know me, my value I bring to the table, one of the values I bring to the table for my clients is my network and my team and my resources. And I had a client who had a situation and they needed an attorney. Well, I'm connected with many incredible attorneys. However, this timeline that they had really wasn't congruent with anyone that I could connect them with. And so I'm just kind of thinking, like, what am I going to do? Time is getting short. And so going through my day, I had a client I was meeting for lunch right down the street here at Melville Tavern. If you know Melville Tavern in Monterey, shout out to them. Incredible spot. And I was there. I'm waiting for her. I'm looking at the clock and sending her a text message, calling her, no show, not seeing her. And so then finally, I realized I was there on the wrong day. Yes. How many of you have ever shown up to an appointment on the wrong day? Is that just me? You know, sometimes life gets a little crazy. And so I'm there at this incredible place. They have great food. It's right downtown Monterey. And I was really thinking about, okay, I'm here on the wrong day. Let me rush back to work and get back to work. And then, you know what I said to myself? I said, Leah, what is going on with you? It's a gorgeous day. You're right here downtown. Why don't you just have a seat and grab some lunch? So that's what I did. I listened to myself. Listen, sometimes inspiration comes to us, but it comes to us in a whisper. It comes to us like a feather. It comes to us like a little tap on the shoulder. But sometimes we're too busy to hear that inspiration. We're too busy to get that divine guidance. So I'm sitting there enjoying my lunch, and I see this gentleman sitting across from me, and something just told me, you know what? You need to talk to this guy. But I thought, you know what? I didn't see a ring on his finger. I didn't want him to think that I was kind of hitting on him, but I just felt like I was drawn to him, like I needed to have a conversation with him. So I went ahead, enjoyed my lunch, and just thinking, gosh, what am I going to do? How am I going to help this client? Who am I going to connect them to? They really need this help. And he said something to me, and so we sparked up a conversation. I asked him, by the way, what do you do? And do you know what he said? He said, I'm an attorney. I was said, oh my gosh, we're supposed to talk. Come on over, have a conversation. And it has just been fire ever since. He was able to help my clients, which was incredible. I absolutely love that. But at the same time, we developed this little relationship that is really exploding and blossoming into something really incredible. Listen, we have to be available and ready for those opportunities. We have to be ready, willing, and available for those divine guidance. Sometimes we get too much in our head and all the noise gets so loud that we can't hear those whispers. Divine is always there for us. Call it God. I happen to be, I'm going to say God is there for me. If that isn't whatever it is for you, higher power, whatever it is for you, but we get those inspirations all the time. But we're so lost in the sauce like a meatball that we don't hear it. And this just happened to be one day that I did listen to my intuition. I did listen to the Holy Spirit, and I did take that action, even though I didn't know what the action was. I thought it was going to have some lunch and enjoy the sun, which we did, by the way. But in addition to that, now I have this incredible new relationship with somebody that is just an incredible resource. He's actually going to be having an office here in our community here in downtown Monterey. I'm excited to do a lot of collaborations. He's an attorney by trade, but he says he brings legal knowledge with that human touch. That's what we need. We need that human wisdom. We need that human touch to things. I think so many times we've gotten so far away from that where everything is electronic, automated, but we need to add that human touch. That's what we bring to the table. So without further ado, please give it up for my incredible guest speaker. You're going to want to take some notes. Please share this with somebody, invite somebody. If you are an entrepreneur, a business owner, solopreneur, you have a side hustle, or you're just somebody who wants to take yourself to the next level, this show is for you. Please give it up as we talk to the amazing Mr. Nicholas John Sorrento. So as the crowd goes wild, bring you to the stage, Mr. Nick. How you doing today?
Very well. Wow. What an introduction. That's a lot to live up to.
It's an all true story, however. It's an all true story. And I'm just so overjoyed for our connection. We're having a lot of fun. And that's what it's all about, right? Having some fun. Listen, yes. I do this thing with my team. I call it winners win. Whenever I get together with my team, I say, okay, leave your troubles at the door. We all have a lot of things going on, but I want to know, what was your win in the past few days? What's the thing that you want to talk about in any area of your life, your faith, your family, your finance, your fitness, your fun, philanthropic, because I believe there's gain. And then number 7 is food, because I believe, listen, I'm a foodie. You know that, Nick. I'm a foodie, right? Taking pictures of our meals. And I believe that food brings us together, but good, healthy food can be costly these days. So I just believe in highlighting those great experiences that we have. So let's start us off. How are we going to go from anxiety to empowerment? I say flip the script and do a cartwheel. Not only are we just going to change the way we look at anxiety, but we are going to flip the script, and I say do a cartwheel, which is what my good friend Noni Veroni says, because I believe in celebrating after we do that, flip the script, right? So kick us off, Nick. Share some wisdom on us. How are we going to, what kind of tee it up for us?
Well, I like what you just talked about, living. I felt like you were talking about living in the present. You were talking about living in the present. And, but what I want to talk about first is what just happened to me about 45 seconds ago. And that is, I had a little bit of a potentially high anxiety event. Let's just talk about what anxiety is. My computer wasn't making sound. It's like 30 seconds. This was almost going to be a problem, right? For some reason. My computer wasn't working, and I'm not sitting here calming down. I've got my spirit animal jumping here on my shoulder instead.
Beautiful.
And what happened was I figured out we need to do something here, and we got to work, and here I am speaking to you now. So did I get my heart rate up? Not really. I was able to sort of handle it. But let's talk about, what is anxiety? So I call anxiety living in the modern world. geez, the way things are stacked up lately. You talked a little bit about cost of food. Well, that could just be right there an example. And everything in our life, just by default, it seems like, of living in the modern world is sort of a minefield of potential for anxiety-driven events, things that can happen that can really sort of, trigger anxiety, however you want to describe it. I just talked about not getting my computer to work, a few minutes before starting. That could have been an anxiety. That's an example of an anxiety-driven event. Obviously, finances can be a big anxiety. And so to ask somebody, do you have anxiety in your life? You're probably going to get a yes, right? In sort of some way or another. And anxiety, what is it? There's all kinds of different ways to describe it. It's a human condition. It's very complicated. But ultimately, I would think that anxiety is something that prevents us from living in the present, being our full selves, our personality that we have when we're not being put to the test, all these different things in the back of our mind. And as human beings, we can process a certain number of things in our life. What am I going to do for food today? What am I going to do for work today? How am I going to engage with the people that I engage with, and friends and associates and family? And, what am I going to do? Those are all normal things that we can all do. Sometimes we try to escape to a vacation, get away from our normal lives, where we can go off to a vacation and get away from this anxiety. So, what is anxiety in the modern world, and a lot of things that we have to do. And I guess what I would start to talk about is when I used to work for a corporation that was it was a biotech company. We were making pharmaceutical drugs. It was the biotech industry before it was absorbed ultimately by the pharmaceutical industry. And we were making very expensive drugs for people that had unmet medical needs. And there was a lot of stress in our job. So they would give us corporate strategy classes. It was great. They would give us a lot of the tools that I've learned about how to process anxiety during times of stress and where they need you to get it together and move things forward. So what they brought in were some people that were emergency responders. Now, this was when I was working with a division of the hazmat response team. So they would bring in people that were confined space entry people that had worked for the fire department before, who would fly around the country, go to Haiti if needed, that's a different country, to pull people out of confined spaces. And they taught us some things that really came over here to this processing of anxiety. And for that, they taught us about the incident command system, which is what anybody who is a fire person or works in health care, emergency response knows about the incident command system. What is the incident command system? Well, I can't think of a more anxiety-ridden event than like a crashed plane or a building that's going down, something that's just really pushes the edge of humanity. And what they have is the incident command system, and it goes like this. The human brain can only process 5 to 7 things at a time.
Okay.
So that's a very powerful concept. We can only handle 5 to 7 things at a time. After that, we get overwhelmed. I mean, that's just the name of the game. And the incident command system makes sure that nobody has more than 5 to 7 things on their plate, in their mind at one time. So, okay, how do we take that and how do we apply that to our lives? Well, we're going to talk about that in a little bit. I just want to talk about kind of what anxiety is and this sort of feeling of being overwhelmed. And people can shut down. People can shut down doing it. How many people here have a to-do list that is just way too long? We're not all going into buildings and pulling people out, but we're managing our lives, and we're taking care of all the things that are, ultimately stacking up and sometimes not being taken care of. And we can get shut down. That happens a lot. I've got a list of things to do right now that's maybe 12 or 13 things to do. I'm outside of my span of control. But it's okay because none of them are really building up and causing me anxiety. So my to-do list it's a good thing in my life. And I'm not anxious. I mean, I am about a lot of other things, I guess, here and there. But talk specifically about the anxiety of not getting stuff done in our lives.
Okay, let's kind of pause there. Yeah, let's kind of pause there. You've given us a lot of information so far. So what I'm hearing is that, gosh, I got some feedback there. Can you hear that? I feel like I'm echoing. Okay, well, hopefully I'm not echoing to all of you, but I hear myself echoing. So what I'm hearing is that our command system, our human brain, has a finite amount of things that we can process at any given time. So when we're thinking about setting up like our to-do list, we probably need to scale back to 5 or 7. Is that correct? My to-do list is way more than that.
I just want to recognize that it's easy for us to get overwhelmed. And I was using a real world example of about how it is pretty easy to get overwhelmed after about 5 to 7 things. And I'm introducing the concept of a to-do list because I know we all have a to-do list. And if we all sat down, said, all right, Nick, you've got a magic wand and a crystal ball, and I want you to make all my stuff happen here. I would ask everybody to say, all right, well, make a list. In fact, for the purposes of today, if you really want to get engaged, and I won't go too deep, too far, but if you want to come up with just a quick little list of, let's say, 5 things. So, well, these are 5 things I haven't done that I want to do. And I'm not talking about buying that big house in the sky. We can build up towards that. But I'm talking about things like I didn't call the bank and get that check notarized that I've been working on for 3 months. Oh, yeah. I didn't get that car problem fixed. Oh, yeah, my car is knocking. All the different things that you've got in your life that are real, that are holding you back from your potential, are probably causing you anxiety. And they're probably causing a negative impact on your life. So we tend to put stuff off. We're really good procrastinators. And what I want to talk about is learning the tools that'll get procrastination out of your life.
All right. I love that. Let's do it.
Could I ask you a question?
Sure.
Is there something you've been procrastinating? It's okay. I'll give you one. I don't want to call you out.
Well, short term or long term? Because they're different categories.
We're talking about stuff in the middle stuff here.
Well, I'll tell you something I just completed, which I've been procrastinating, reorganizing my office. I've been putting it off. It's been causing me so much grief. There's so much clutter. I can't find things. And I actually did it just this past couple of days. But it's been there in the background, bothering me. I'm looking around. I don't feel, I had this whiteboard that I wanted to hang up, but I hadn't hung it up. I just had all these things. So if you notice now, I have more room here. If anybody notices that. And I would get on my show and I had these boxes right here and like I needed to deal with them. And it was just really causing so much clutter, not just in my office, but really in my thinking ability. So I said, you know what, Leah, what the heck is going on with you? You need to get your butt in gear. You need to clean out this office, straighten it up. And now look I have all this space. I have this station. I'm free here. It's wonderful. So that's something
I love it. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Taking something that was taking a bandwidth, you're putting it off. And then now you've got a smile and you're talking about it and you're enjoying it.
Yeah.
I love it. I think it's just great. And as a small example, we can apply that at a multitude and have a much more impact in our life than we think. We can take something that is a debit and turn it into a credit, and we can stand on that as a form of empowerment. Now, do you remember we ever used to have homework? I mean, I'm not sure if anybody here is in school anymore here. Maybe not, but remember homework?
Oh, yeah, I do. I have nightmares about my 9th grade algebra homework to this day. So, yeah, I remember homework.
Okay, so mental tasks, things that had to be done that were just sapping your energy. Remember finals week? Oh, we've got finals next week. I've got a lot of times our lives can be a smaller version of that. It's not like we've got a final next week. We've got to shut down our whole lives. But do you remember when you had a final or something like that? Then your whole life would seem to get shut down. Now, we would develop avoidance behaviors, wouldn't we? For some reason, your sock drawer, your room, not to compare this, but suddenly maybe you clean your room instead of doing that big thing you want to get done, which is studying for that final, right? Now, I think we do that a lot. I think people tend to do that a lot. And what people tend to do is they approach their to-do list as a monolithic thing that just needs to get done. And they don't have any sort of system or approach to what am I going to do? How am I going to pick which item on the to-do list to do? And can I pick something that's easy to do? Something that I kind of feel like I could probably do that wouldn't be too tough. And then I could just work on that easy thing. And then I'd be working on my list and that would be okay. I'm going to pick something nice and easy to work on. We do that a lot. I do it. It's like eating junk food for getting your stuff done.
Yeah.
All right. What I want to talk about now is saying that is not necessarily a good thing. And that what I want to do is approach this a little bit differently. And I want to talk about maybe doing things a little bit different in terms of how we approach our to-do list that is causing us anxiety. And I can think of everybody in my life that's close to me. Get done, they haven't gotten done yet. And it's just, they get this look in their eye, they look up to the sky and it causes, oh yeah, I got to get that one thing done. I've got to call the insurance company. And I've got to sign up on this website. And I need to, get my daughter signed up or help her get signed up for classes. And I need to get my child to get their driver's lessons done, whatever it is. And it's really easy to do something small, like a baby step, like the What About Bob movie, right? Baby steps.
Yeah.
Baby steps. Well, I'm here to say that is not such a good thing. And that is not how you're going to turn anxiety into empowerment. I'd like to talk about a different tool that's available.
All right.
So I want to say that this background is giving me anxiety. I want to stepping away from that. Let's go. By the way, can you?
Let's see the new and improved anxiety-free background. Oh.
Well, what I'd like to talk about now is stepping out of that process and attacking things a little bit differently. Can you still hear me?
Let's do it. I can.
Okay. I'm having some more bugs here, but I'm not going to worry about that. What I'd like to talk about is something that I learned from a very powerful person in my life. Her name is Barbara Corcoran. And Barbara Corcoran had something very powerful to say about this. And I took this from her and I've incorporated it in my life. And I'd like to share this with you. And she said, take that thing on the list that you've been putting off, that you know you can do. Put it right at the top. Put that difficult thing right at the top. And don't be scared of it. And you say, well, I have 10 things on my list to do. I could do 3 or 4 of them, and that would be me doing stuff, getting stuff done. And that's going to feel good. I'm going to get these small things done, and they're the ones that I almost prefer to do. But if you take that one large thing that you've been putting off, that's just been like a monster in your psyche, and you put it right at the top of your list, and let's say you can't get it done right away, then what do? You start the process. You start loading it up into your present state conscious. You bring that from the back and you put it right at the front. And let's say it's going to be a doozy. It's going to take you hours to get this done.
Okay.
What can I do? I don't have hours to get this done. And Nick told me to start this big thing first. At that point, what do? Well, you can do a lot of things to chip away at that. You can start it. Let's say it involves writing a letter somewhere. You can pull up a Word email, a Word document. You can start the process of writing it. You can, let's say it involves talking with the person. You can set up a conversation with them. You can schedule a conversation to speak with the person, and you can put it on your calendar. As I get into the second part of this, we're about halfway here with this concept of task management. Putting things, the hard things first, even if you can only chip away at them a little bit.
Ooh.
And that's how you get from the state of anxiety where you're spinning your wheels and not even getting anywhere and worried about it. Instead, you're starting to do something. You're doing something, and you are maybe what you're doing, the process, the sandbox process of developing, accomplishing this large task, which is just in your face. So how do I do it in my life? Well, I'm a lawyer. It's going to be easy to do that one. I've got a lot of homework to do at a constant basis. You know, I'm doing a lot of writing. It's kind of like writing book reports, doing a lot of research, solving problems. It's really easy for people in my position to put stuff off. Oh, well, the deadline's not for 2 weeks. I can do that 3 days before. Well, that's when you get into trouble doing that. So staying ahead of everything and not letting stuff get behind you is the name of the game where I come from. And how I do it is by using the theories that I've been talking about for the first half hour here. And I recognize that, see, Nick, well, how does that, how do you do that? Or how does that, tangentify? What I would suggest is having your to-do list. We're just going to pretend you have a to-do list. It's a proverbial to-do list. I'm going to say that you probably have it written down somewhere, piece of paper. I write down notes as I'm doing stuff, but I try to have do you have a to-do list?
I do.
See it. I can't hear it. My speakers are going out here, but.
You can't see it? Yeah, I do.
What I do is I have a GCal. It's part of the Gmail set of programs. A lot of people have Gmail. There's a GCal. It's a calendar, and it's easy to access. You can give other people access if you want to it as well. You can have multiple calendars. I like to keep things simple, though. I don't like to let things get too complicated. I am constantly putting things on my GCal for today, for yesterday, and for tomorrow. And whenever I get something done, I always take it from the day and then I move it to the previous Sunday, and it's a task I completed. I did it. I do that for all things that are important to me: to call people, to get a letter written, to figure something out. Just any task that I have is all on the calendar. And that way, it's all written down. It's constant in my life. And I don't have to think about it. I don't have to think about it at all because it's right there. I wrote it down, so I don't have to think about it. So it doesn't cause me any anxiety. It's kind of like when I used to work in the laboratory, and the big manager would walk in and she would say, Nick, what are you doing today? I wouldn't have to think. If it was 2 a.m. and I had a $20 million batch of medicine going through, I just look at the chart.
Right.
Kind of like if you were a nurse working 24 hours in a hospital. What's going on with the patient? Well, it's in the chart right here. I wrote it down. So I just pull up my chart. And having your list of accomplishments of the day, not everybody does it, but it's been very powerful for me. Crossing stuff off, the act of crossing something off a list, just for me, is better. Well, it's not better than a night out on the town. It feels pretty okay. I like it. And here's what happens. See, Nick, you say that's a great concept, and we talked for a few minutes, and wonderful. So how does that incorporate into your life, and what are the benefits of that? Well, when your problem set starts to fall over like cards, let's take this to the next step. Let's pretend that you actually got that one thing done. Has anybody here ever had something that they put on their list for 4 months? I'm going to pretend 4 months. And then you actually do it. It takes 5-10 minutes and you think, oh, wow, I put that off for months. That does happen a lot.
Yeah.
That happens a lot. And that feeling that you get of, it being kind of silly, it just, I don't know. You think, how many of my other problems could I have just knocked out? Well, when you start to accomplish those tasks, when you start to accomplish those tasks, you build a credit. And the one thing on that to-do list that's worth the most credit, worth the most empowerment, the most bang for your buck, is not the thing that takes the most time, and it's not the thing that takes the least time. It's the thing that you've been putting off the most. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take that list of 5 things, 3 things, 2 things, 1 thing. Let's get a few things on the list. Let's write them down if you've got the time. Order those things in the order that are causing you the most anxiety. I want to make this an anxiety-based to-do list. I don't care about the big thing, the small thing. If calling that Mr. or Mrs. Jerky Pants because they're the other lawyer and they're not going to be nice to you, but you got to settle this case, now you don't want to talk to that person. Guess what? Guess what's making number 1 on the list that morning? You can have some coffee while you do it or something like that. And then what happens if you were able to get that accomplished? Wow. You would have this feeling of empowerment.
Yeah. I love this. If we can pause right here. Let's pause right there, Chris. Nick, that's like so huge what you just said, because I definitely, and I know most people will have some type of a to-do list. A couple of things that I do is I set up my day the night before. I go through my appointments. I write down my top 3 that I need to get done. I put my calendar on my whiteboard over here. So it's, then I've got my alarms that go off for me. Listen, it's not a perfect system. It's not a perfect system. But what I love about what you're saying is that not just putting down the to-do list, but putting it down in order, like in algebra, order of operation. What is the first thing I need to do that would alleviate the most anxiety? And then from there, a couple of things that will reduce my anxiety, so I will feel empowered to do other things. But also what I do, and I'd love to know what you think about this, is I celebrate those things. Whether it's having a nice little cup of tea, whether I take a little walk, whether I just do something really nice for myself, something that's free, that doesn't cost me a lot. I don't have to go and do a bunch of things for it. That's right there that I can take advantage of. I think it's important for us to reward ourselves and celebrate those wins, because then what are we doing? We're setting ourselves up that, okay, we rewarded ourselves. Now we're going to do it again. What do you think about that?
I think that's putting the icing on the cake right there. That's taking it exactly in the direction we need to go, because what you're doing is you're associating good feelings, rewards, feeling good with accomplishment. And you are not looking at these things as arduous tasks, but opportunities to feel good again, because your body will start to get used to that. Your brain will start to get used to that. Rewarding yourself is essential to all of this too. You've got to take care of yourself during the process of getting stuff done. And I think that just what you are talking about is taking things from an anxious state and taking to a state of empowerment. And then even building on that, even starting to enjoy yourself. And it doesn't need to be, you need to be a driver all the time and getting tasks done all the time.
Right.
It's to, be sure to work for however long it is to getting stuff done, but then be sure to set up that lunch or that dinner after, so you can go out and have some fun after too, and take care of yourself. And I think if you keep doing what you just said, it'll start to become not automatic, but less of a hurdle for your brain or your body to take on the next thing. Because it's all about momentum, right?
Right.
And if you start to build up that momentum and you incorporate in the positivity that you're describing, I think that's in a state of empowerment. You're gonna, you have more hope towards the hope towards the future as compared to fear. And you start to get to the point where you're living more in the present, because you were just describing living in the present state, how you were feeling. Something that happened and how it incorporated. And you weren't talking about some theoretical problem off in the future that's just either taking up space or something that you cannot take care of. So I just really like the idea of taking a small thing like anxiety in your life from a task list of stuff you haven't gotten done. Maybe it's not the most anxious driving event in your life, but just anxiety from tasks. It's got to be a part of what's going on in your life. And turning that into empowerment. Well, what do you do with that? Well, instead of it being something that's mucky, that's taking you down, now it's something you can stand on. Now it's something that's a foundation. Now it's something that's going to give you strength to face the other things going on in your life. So what I would invite everybody to do out of all of this we've talked about, today so far, if you're just going to take one thing out of this out there stuff that Nick's talking about, I would say this. I would challenge you. I would challenge you to do one thing. I would come up with a list of 3 to 5 things that you got to get done. And don't make them easy, like cleaning the dishwasher. Yeah, I think this is going to be a very subjective, not an objective thing. I'm not going to give you an example on this one. You know what I'm talking about here. That thing that you need to do. I'm not even going to give you an example. You're kind of smiling right now, like, I know that thing. Yeah, the stucco's falling off on the side of the house. I got to hire the contractor or at least get a quote, whatever it is. Put 3 of those things down. Just 3.
Okay.
3. And order them. Get that number one thing loaded up into your present state. It's probably been around for a while. And don't do it. I mean, hey, it'd be nice to do it. Just get the first step going. Get the first step going. Even if it's just pulling up, whatever it is. Even if it's making the phone call. Even if it's looking up the contractors on the internet. Do something and process after you do it how it makes you feel.
Mm-hmm.
And in order to keep it totally simple, that would be like Nick's challenge for the day. And I believe that you will, on a small scale, with one little thing, you will turn anxiety into empowerment. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Now,
so let me get this straight then, really quick,
something
Nick.
About
can you hear me, Nick?
Apathy or shutting down or not doing anything. Finding motivation. So I guess what I'll do is I'll go in a little bit into motivation now, because I think we've got the concept here. Motivation. Well, I'll start with 2 things. One is now, Leah, I'm not sure if you can, do you have the letter that I've got?
I do. Let's see. I'm going to go
If not, I can describe it. It's okay. What's going on is I talked a little bit before about Barbara Corcoran. She's an inspiration for me. I've got many inspirations, but she's one of them. Excuse me.
Oh, yeah. It's not here. I'm not sure what happened, but it's not here.
Barbara was on a TV show. It was called The Shark Tank. I don't know if they're still playing it or not. And she didn't get the job at first. She was not going to be on the show. Boy, that was anxious for her. Really easy to shut that down. You get the letter and it says you apply for the job, and then they try to, you don't get the job. And it was going to be really easy for Barbara to not have any motivation to move any forward on that one. Why would you? You didn't get the job. But what she did was she got the motivation to write a letter back to Shark Tank, the producer. And she posts this letter on her LinkedIn page. It's one of the first few ones. I've got it here. And in this letter, she basically said, hey, I understand. You picked the other girl to the dance, and I understand that that's where you're going. But I want you to reconsider me for a few reasons. One of which is I bring a unique perspective that you may not have taken into account at first. And she also started going through about it. By the way, I was in a lawsuit with Donald Trump, and I won against the big Trump. She brought up all her accomplishments and all these different things that the producer may not have realized at first. So they asked the person that they had selected. I'm not sure who they were. I feel bad for them. No, we're going to go with Barbara again, because what she did was she had the motivation to at least just go for it. And, that was just very powerful for me, because she sort of had the gumption to do it. Just do it. And with how do you relate this to the to-do list? Well, maybe that thing that's number one on your list has a block to it. I can't do it. Not necessarily as I didn't get on the TV show, but there's a roadblock to that. But I need to still get it done. But there's a roadblock. Well, you know what? Identify it. Put it on that list. Don't hide it. You're probably hiding it. And you're probably hiding behind getting other stuff done on your list to feel like, hey, at least I'm doing stuff here and I'm being accomplishing. Well, you're doing the stuff you want to do. You're not doing the stuff that needs to get done. If you were going to hire somebody to do your to-do list for you, would you give them the tough one first? Or would you give them the easy, fun stuff that you want to do first? No. You were going to hire somebody. You say, I've got all the money in the world. I'm going to have a personal assistant. Hey, and my personal assistant, yeah, all right. Well, I'm paying them to do it. So here we go. I'm going to give them some experience. Are you going to tell them to, I got to call my mom and, talk about something? No, you're going to tell them to call the insurance company and work on getting the check cashed, sit on hold for 3 hours. Hey, forget them. You're paying them, right? Well, that's how you need to approach it. So what you do is you make this objective list. And you're not doing the stuff on the list. This person, see, I run my own business, and I'm the poor guy and I'm the boss. My boss is a jerk, I'll tell you. My boss gives me all kinds of stuff to do. I have to put on my make the to-do list hat. I do this constantly. And then I've got put on my paralegal hat, and now I'm the work for the person. But when I make the list, I make it in an objective fashion. So when you're looking at your list right now, pretend that you're not going to be the one doing these tasks on the list. It's going to be an AI robot, and don't get me started on that. You're going to have an objective approach to getting the stuff done, and that's going to be a tool that you can have for motivation, as well. All right. Well, what else could I talk about here? I got a few more minutes here.
Let's kind of highlight some of the things that you said. Can you hear me, Nick?
Oh,
can you hear me?
I can't hear you. I'm going to try to get this speaker going again.
Oh, you can't hear me? Okay. You go ahead and work on that speaker there. Hopefully you guys can hear me. Yeah, this is really powerful. I love the concept of pretend like you're not the one doing the task. Because if I'm not the one that's going to do the task, then a couple of things happen. If I'm going to pay somebody to do this task, then I'm going to really have to be really clear about what the task is, what they need to do to start it, what they need to do to have it completed, and then let me know when it's done. So that makes it like those tasks suddenly become very succinct and very exact about what it is that you want completed. If I'm going to pay somebody, can you hear me, Nick? He still can't hear me. He can't hear me. Okay. So I love that idea because that really will totally flip the script for me. That makes my task to be very exact about what that task is, how I know when it is done. And then also, if I'm paying somebody, how much is that going to cost me? Maybe it's a task that I shouldn't be doing. Maybe it's a task that I could pay somebody else to do, and it would save me much more time and money if it would cost me X amount of dollars, and I know I could go out and get more clients or do the stuff, the money-making activity. So I really love that. It's a really powerful exercise. I don't know if everybody caught that, but I think that in itself is very, very dynamic and really powerful. Can you hear me now? Okay. All right. Good deal. Okay. We've got a few more minutes here. But yeah, go ahead and share what you'd like to kind of sum it all up. How can we kind of bring this all together? You've given us a lot of really good tactical tools.
What we can do is we can recognize the fact that the world nowadays is modern. We're having growing pains as society. We've got a lot of different things going on. We could talk about that for a long time. We, as a society, let's face it, we're going through a growth phase, a time of transition. And I went to go get a burger at the Burger King. I like a Burger King burger. You know, hey, I'm a fancy guy sometimes. And then I had an AI computer interface try to sell me the hamburger, and it was it didn't work.
Yeah.
The computers don't work yet, and they're trying. The cars don't drive themselves yet, but they're trying to make them. And we've got a lot of competing third-party vendors that are trying to get you to spend money inefficiently. We've got scam artists that have computers that sound more and more like humans. They're right on the edge of trickery. There's consumer rights violations across the board. I could talk about that for days. So I don't want to get into all the reasons that I know you have anxiety in your life, but to sum up what's going on is, how do we address that in a way to not let it control our lives, to control it? Now, I heard somebody say once, I won't quote it, I won't say who it's from, but they said that I didn't want to be a product of my environment. This is it's a deep concept for me. I did not want to be a product of my environment, because the environment right now is anxious driven. I want my environment to be a product of me. I want to take control of my environment, and I don't want to be subject to the anxiety that is controlling my life. And how I personally have the tools that I have to actually make that happen are, I get my to-do list done all the time. It's constantly being done. I always have something to be done, but I never have something that is old and stale and off there. And that allows me to live in the present state. So if we go out to lunch, we go out to lunch every Friday, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I look forward to going out to lunch with you. Where do we go?
We have a good time.
It's the place in Monterey. I love it. It's just every Friday we go to the place and we have lunch, and it's just it provides me momentum, and I never have something that has been stale between that interval. between that weekly lunch that we have. And I just have an empowerment from it. And I don't let anxiety control my life. Instead, I try to get the things done that are holding me back and looking straight in the face. And if I can, darn it, get one of them done out of all this, then I can turn anxiety into empowerment. And
I love that.
Once you start to do that, it is a positive. It is a positive feedback loop, and you start to really incorporate it into your life. So, the first thing that I'm going to do when we get off is just to check out where I'm at to see if there's anything to do. And if there's not, and if I'm okay, I'm going to go have a blast. We're going to meet lunch on Friday, and you know what? I'm going to enjoy it. I'm not going to spend the whole time worrying about all the stuff I didn't get done throughout the week. I'm going to live in the present. And boy, it doesn't get any better than that for me. And it took me like 10 years to get to this point. I used to work for a law firm and was overwhelmed with work. They were putting me on private jets and I was flying around. That was fun. But I didn't get to enjoy the private jet because the whole time I had a stack of papers and 100 cases. And I was just living in anxiety, even though I had all this beauty and opulence around me. And it was just a tough spot to be in. I had to develop the skills to get where I needed to be. And doing this, what Barbara taught me, making that list, not being true to yourself and making that number one task truly the thing that you can do, but is going to be the most difficult thing to do. And guess what? If you write it as if it was meant for somebody else to perform, the next thing you know, you never know. You never know. So
I love this. That last few minutes was everything, because I really made that connection. If we don't handle the things that are causing us anxiety and that's always there running in the background, what happens if we have too many apps on our phone or too many things on our computer running in the background? It starts to deplete our energy. And so when we go to be with our family, when we go to spend time with our precious grandchildren, we can't truly be there because we have all of these things in the background that are depleting our energy and taking away that time. And we miss those precious moments. That was fire.
Yeah, they're sapping the precious time that you have together, which is, all we have in this world. I don't have to get too philosophical. Spending time with friends and family was what it's all about. As we get older, we start to realize that more and more and more. And these things are holding us back.
Right.
Tossing traffic, right? Oh, wow. Right. So there are solutions. There are
I love that.
I would say this too. Call me. Call us. Come meet us for lunch sometime.
Yeah, we're there on Fridays. Melville Tavern in downtown Monterey. Come and see us.
Lots of fancy cars go by lately too. I sure like that.
It is Car Week right now in Monterey. Any kind of car you want to see is driving by downtown. I'm talking about every type of old time car, new time car, just everything. We see all the trucks. So the auction is happening, I think, this weekend, because I see all the signs. Drive over here for the car auction. It is going to be fire. If you're a car enthusiast, or even if you're not, I think it's a really cool event to come and see all the different cars that are here right now. Millions and billions probably worth of classic and, ultimate cars here.
Oh yeah. And lots of exotics. If you're into cars that are worth more than houses, this is your place.
There you go. And in California, that's no small feat, right? We're talking about California prices. So, Nick, how can people, I know you're going to make some new friends here. How can people reach you? What's the best way for people to contact you? They want to have a coffee chat. They want to join you at the Melville Tavern, or maybe they need some legal advice. They have some legal questions. What's the best way for people to reach you?
Oh, sure. You can always go to my website, sorrentolaw.com. You can always call me, 408-543-9023. Yeah, 543-9023. Call me. The phone rings. I pick it up. That's the deal. That's the deal.
And I can vouch for that. He will absolutely pick up his phone anytime, anywhere. If he possibly can, he will take your call. If not, he will call you right back. And I think that's critical these days. When we talk about attorneys, a lot of times people have this feeling about attorneys are just there trying to gouge them, and they're just going to send them over to voicemail, send them to their paralegal, or just avoid their call altogether. I can vouch for you are definitely not that kind of guy at all. I think that you bring so much knowledge and wisdom, and you truly do provide that human touch.
Oh, I appreciate that. More than you know. I'm a very emotional person when it comes to that. I treasure that. And we've been talking about doing a show together, right? Like an old timey radio call in.
Yeah.
Show,
That's going to be fun.
There this week. So
I know. I can't wait. We're definitely got to celebrate that. We'll take some pictures for you guys live in person, right? Well, this has been a lot of fun. I enjoyed this. I really learned a lot. And I love the idea of flipping the script from anxiety to empowerment, because I'm all about empowerment. I really think that we have so much that we can control. And oftentimes we allow the things we can't control to really dominate our thoughts and dominate our thinkings. We have more control than we think. We can't control everything, but the things that we can control, those are the things that we need to focus on. And we can get that to-do list done. We can flip that script and think about it differently. Put down those top 3 to 5 things that you have, and start writing down what are the things that you need to do to complete them, as if you're not the one that's going to do it. And you may decide your time is better well spent by hiring somebody to do that thing for you.
Hey, that's an option. Great. I haven't gotten there yet. But I'm working on it.
Yeah, but have a really detailed list of what actions you need to take. And then, of course, always celebrating those wins.
Be that tough boss on yourself and give yourself.
Be that tough boss on yourself. Absolutely.
You're going to like the way you feel. I guarantee it.
And then I love the idea of just meditating on how you're going to feel afterwards, creating that story, doing that celebration in your head, writing down the celebration. If it's something really big, make it a big celebration. Write it down in detail and then actually do it. I think that flips the script, and that will get us empowerment, and that'll go a long, long way to being more present when it comes to our loved ones, being more present when it comes to our families, and just living life more. We can't enjoy our lunch if we're all worried about our to-do list. Right?
Agreed. And I'd like to make one final note based on what you just said. You were talking about imagining a future state in which the task was already completed. That is very powerful, because when you have this task on your list that is anxiety ridden and cannot be done, you don't even believe. For me, passing the California bar exam. Oh, wow. All these different reasons, all these different obstacles, an insurmountable number of reasons why you should give up and not do it. Well, what if you imagined a state where you did accomplish it? Just pretend, go to the land of make-believe, like Miss and Mr. Rogers, another very powerful person in my life. Just imagine. And next thing you know, it could happen. Just imagine yourself in a state where the thing got done, and that'll help you.
I love it. And who's your little fur baby there?
Oh, this is my permanent kitty. This is Heidi.
Heidi.
Things were pretty anxious with her at first. She had some problems. Usually cats with her thing don't usually make it, but she sure did. She's going to be a kitten forever.
She's so cute. Well, thank you for your time, Nick. We appreciate you. I appreciate these words of wisdom for sure. I definitely got some good nuggets for sure, some good golden nuggets that I'm going to be implementing and getting that to-do list from to-do to done. That's what Cassandra Terry, the voice
I love it.
That's what she says. She taught me that, from to-do to done. So that's going to do it for this episode. I'm super excited about our next week guest speaker. It's going to be incredible. Join us. I'm here every single week on Wealthy Wednesday, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And if you are here, it's because you are the one in your family. You are the one that's supposed to change your family's last name forever. There are a lot of people who are tied to your red wagon, and they need you to get that to-do list done. They need you to get those things done so that you can be more present with them. What good is accumulating this wealth if all we're going to do is just be in anxiety and stress? We're here to be a blessing for others. You're blessed so that you can be more blessed. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I cut you off in the show. I got so excited.
Yeah, go ahead.
Last thing if I have to say, you know what? William Hearst Castle, right? William Hearst,
yeah.
Newspaper Mongol, said that the best thing about money is spending it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's why we got to make a big pile of it so that we can have wealth without risk and we can enjoy our money without worrying and stressing about what's happening in the stock market. So that's going to do it for us. Thank all of you. I appreciate you. And I will see you next week. And remember, this is your year to rise up and thrive and make it the best year of your life. Thank you so much, everybody.
Hey there, I'm Leah Garcia. Have you ever wanted a career where you truly make a difference in people's lives? I'm building a team of driven financial and insurance professionals, people who want to help families and businesses protect, distribute, and transfer their wealth with confidence. If you're passionate about guiding others to achieve financial security, then you're exactly who I'm looking for. Join my supportive, growth-oriented environment and unlock your full potential. Ready to take the next step? Visit leahgarcia.io and let's start building your future together.